I'd like to call this meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. May we rise for the invocation. Mr. Arjona, can you lead us, sir?
Yes, we can all bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you for your blessings you bestowed upon us. As we gather here today, we pray that this meeting is successful, productive, and blessed. Guide us, give us your wisdom concerning the issues that we face on a daily basis. We give you the glory for what we accomplish. As always, in your name we pray. Amen.
Flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Under public comment.
Community. Under presentations, the first item on the agenda, it's the Department of Planning and Zoning, Department of the Parks and Recreation, San Juan Memorial Library, and Department of Sanitation. I think everybody's here, ready, available. Should you have any questions for them?
Okay. This time, I'd just like to make a comment in reference to the sanitation department, Mr. Roel Garza. I want to thank you so much for putting on that event this weekend. I've got a lot of calls in reference to it, and it was something very nice for our community. I also want to thank your supervisors as well, J.J. Salinas, Mr. Soto, and everyone else in your department who was part of this organization and what transpired this Saturday. Keep up the good work, Mr. Garza. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Mr. To the same note, I'm proud of all the employees that, they were there helping us, and even though we had trailer loads of tires, and they were there trying to assist us as much as they could, and, that was great, just a great feeling that, we got there and they were ready to unload those trailers. We got a few more tires. Can we still take them to you, Mr.? Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. But we got some that we still got there. Can we take them to like tomorrow? Yes, sir. And get them out of the, I know that we're gonna have a roundup on April 7th, yes, right, yeah. So, we heard that, well, I'm at the Lower Rio Grande Co-op, so. Chief, how much does those speed bumps cost?
They usually cost us between $50 and $75
$75
each, yeah.
each, so we need, in the street, we would need, what, 2 or 3, or?
Depends on the street, depends on the width of the street, if it's 20 feet, 26 feet, and like Blade, larger street. Over by Sioux Road, we put some in front, and we're going to put some in Cancun and some other streets out there as well, so it depends on the street. We usually...
Right now, or?
Right now, no, sir. We depleted all the ones that we have already.
How long have they been in back order, sir?
No, they're not in back order, so we just order like 10 or 12 sets at a time, and then we put them out on the streets depending on our surveys and our requests from the citizens. We still got about 6 people, 6 locations that we still gotta, we gotta make sure that we put some speed bumps there, but we're still doing some traffic surveys there to see if they meet the requirement.
Normally that comes from your budget, or?
We buy them through asset forfeiture.
Fortunately.
Yes.
So, Rana, maybe we can look, see what, what we can do, if there's any way we can do something to. So, I know that on 2nd Street, close to the park, the lady has picked up a petition and brought it to me, so I'm going to take it to you. And she complains that the people just, burn tire there, and so, and I went and looked at it, and there was like 2 or 3 track marks there.
Almost definitely, Mayor.
So we could look at it, if it's going to be worked, fine. If not, we're going to have to work until next budget or so.
Okay, we'll do.
We do.
That's it for me.
If I may? For Mr. Escobar, I see on your report that we have the health department already up and running. What kind of feedback are you getting from the businesses? Because I know you're going out there.
So they get both permits out of the way at the same time.
And
that's more
I know
convenient.
you're checking to make sure that they do have their permits And is everybody in compliance, or are you finding people that are not in compliance?
There's a lot that are not in compliance, but we sent out 252 letters to all the businesses for health and for occupational. So they've been coming in. So right now you're seeing a lot of people coming into City Hall to pay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Escobar, for people that need permits and they're doing, if for some reason they bring a permit from the county, you're still honoring those?
Yeah, we're honoring it.
Okay.
So if we're just doing the occupational, we're checking the building, that's something new, but the health, they can have it until next year, 2020, till it expires.
And the food handling program, are you already getting those?
What we're
Doing or
doing is
not yet?
we're making sure that they have a food handler's permit. If they have it, they're good to go, because that usually lasts 2 years to 5 years.
You're
It
not
just
issuing those yet, or?
We're not doing that yet.
Those will come from the county?
Yeah, they have to actually go to a private company and get the food handlers.
Okay.
Mr. What's the status on the commercial pickup? Are we on schedule, or all trucks are up and running, or?
Had one truck down, so we're a little bit behind schedule, but as of today, we did catch up. Now, any commercial container that wasn't picked up accordingly, we move on it as soon as possible and collect it. But we did get our commercial truck up and running.
Good right now. All right, thank you. Do you have a date for the opening ceremonies for baseball, softball season?
Yes, right now it's tentatively set for April the 6th, Saturday, April 6th, the first Saturday of the month. We'll send out the official invitation after spring break. Last night, all the teams were made. All coaches have been notifying coaches coming in today to pick up equipment and stuff. Once we secure the date of arrival of uniforms, but right now everything looks good for April the 6th, Saturday, April the 6th.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
More or less, what was our cost? I know we used employees for this, what we did on Saturday, the pickup.
Cost for the employees being out there?
Well, it cost the city, some, I know that maybe, more or less, how did you work the way to what it cost us? All was overtime.
Except the employees that were on salary. But yes, all of them got paid overtime.
And the reason I'm asking is because maybe in the coming budget, we could try to work something, because it worked out where the residents participated and brought some of the stuff, and you saw a lot of those mattresses picked up and sofas that really makes the city look bad. That if we could bring a cost to it, more or less what it is, maybe in the next budget or next fiscal year, we could work it out 2 or 3 times, because that really helped.
Mr. Singh, today, it was a great turnout. It was amazing. Did you get a count on how many kids came in?
Started counting at 105 and probably 120
Yeah. They really did enjoy it. Yeah, that was an awesome event. Thank you for putting it on for the kids, especially those that are stuck at home. They don't have a spring break, but thank you. That's it.
I have one question for Mr. Willingham. I know this is baseball season's already here. Now, as far as curiosity, the numbers, do you know more or less how many have registered so far? Or can the kids still come in and register, or is there like a deadline where?
We're a little over 600 kids. We're nearing 60 teams. Some divisions, like I mentioned earlier, last night we had the draft. Some divisions, like the 5 and 6-year-olds, we're 10 teams. We're up with 14, 15 kids per team. We're pretty full in that division. Right now it'd be a wait list, and we'd have to check the division to see if there's room. But yeah, we're pretty close to full.
Okay.
But we try not to turn away anybody. If there's any way to accommodate them, we will accommodate them.
Great. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the directors? If not, we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Mayor, on the next item, we have an item that was brought up to us here. It'll be held over at the Parks and Recreation. This is a presentation on free women self-defense classes and self-defense classes for the disabled. Mr. Patrick?
Good afternoon, sir. What was the day again? On what days? Oh, okay, okay, 5 to 7. Okay, okay. Okay. Any questions at this time for Mr. Willingham?
This is not only limited to the citizens of San Juan? Or is it primarily for the citizens of San Juan? Okay.
They register there with you at Parks?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
The next item under appointments, consider the approval and designation of a liaison from the City Commission to the San Juan Memorial Library Advisory Board as stated in the bylaw.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
The revised bylaws from the library board. And on the bylaws, Article 2, Section 2, they changed the wording so that the board, the city commission will select a liaison between the San Juan Library Board and the city commission.
Of the.
Yes,
of the
to
city
be a
commission.
liaison, yes, sir.
Okay, any recommendations?
I've been attending the meetings, but not officially as a liaison.
I make a motion to approve, to appoint Commissioner Jesse Ramirez.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item under discussion and possible action is authorize a mid-year budget amendment in the utilities and stormwater funds and authorize city manager to execute any related documents. Mr. Utilities? Oh? I'm sorry. Discussion and possible action on paving improvement project phase 3 and authorize city manager to enter into a contract agreement with the next engineer on rotation. As you recall, we did we submitted the whole streets, and they were itemized as serious, failed, the ones that we've been working on. As you have on your packet, there's some that are highlighted, and the ones that are needed to continue working on. And as we recall, you were very gracious in the sense that we went out for another CO, and we're very lucky to accommodate another $1 million worth of street improvements. So with you, in your packet, you have the ones that have already been repaved under the different conditions. So we have them here. We send this over to you so you can look it over and see if there's going to be any out of the scope that we currently have, the ones that are following, either to add some more or go with additional streets versus the ones that are currently there. our recommendation because of some of the streets that we currently have. As you can see on page number 22 down at the bottom, I've got Moore Road, but that one is already been approved with the participation of Precinct 2. But I got Nebraska from 12th Street all the way to Business 83, just to continue the way that it looks from, Ridge all the way to 12, and maybe do an overlay or maybe like a chip seal overlay with the TxDOT specs on that. And also I got Ridge Road from Veterans Road to San Antonio Road. This is right in front of the high school, just for, see how much it'll cost us to do that. And also West 7th Street from Nebraska Avenue to San Antonio. All of these streets are scheduled to be paved, either where it's in the fair condition, poor conditions, but these are the ones that I'm recommending to be included on this proposal, along with the others on very poor condition, the ones that are not highlighted, those are the ones that we're recommending for approval.
The ones that are highlighted, what color?
Oh, no, the ones that are not highlighted,
Those are the ones that,
we're recommending for approval.
So the ones that are not highlighted,
Right, those are the ones.
you're
that-
able to cover it with
Well,
a million?
the proposal that we were given since the very beginning, and historically it's been that it's been less than what it was proposed. We're looking at about 1.08, the ones that have not been highlighted. So we're hoping that the cost is going to be less than what is actually here. Now, once we get the bid, we can always say we're going to take away some of these streets because we cannot, it's not within the budget. Okay,
Obviously, eventually it's going to come back to us
Right.
once we
right,
get.
exactly.
Okay.
And this is pretty much just asking for permission to go out for bids and selecting the next engineer that is on the rotation.
Under Fell, I see Lucky Drive. Now, does that indicate that this may be a private road or, it's not?
Yeah, the last time that we looked into it, it was a private road,
It was private road, Mr. Salinas, or?
Salinas. Yeah, it was a private road.
It's a dedicated access easement for the lots that are there, but it's just an easement between the families that own the lots there. So it was never dedicated over to the city.
Got you. Thank you, sir. Okay.
and then you'll come with the actual streets down the line.
Yes, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back with the cost estimate as to how much it'll cost us depending on the bid and the streets that we're going to be recommending based on the proposal and based on the amount that we have.
Of what
Right, right.
we'll just have to adjust.
Adjust them, right.
Hopefully, we can cross our fingers and get every
Hoping
street.
we can get them all.
Yeah. Okay.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We go with the discussion and possible action to authorize a mid-year budget amendment in the utilities and stormwater funds and authorize city manager to execute any related documents. Mr. Salinas?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. If you all may, back in October 2018, and before that, you all approved for us to solicit for a rate study, debt of service study, and a cost of service study along with a development fee study. The work has been kind of slow trying to get all the information that the contractor needed to put that. So unfortunately, that was originally budgeted in last year, and when we opened this budget, we failed to budget the $30,000 in this year. So that's why I'm here on that one to request a budget amendment, take it out of the retained earnings to cover that fee for this year. The next one, of course, we've been a member of the Stormwater Task Force for several years. We're currently a member. And this year, when we originally did the budget, it was still under the general fund in the streets department. When we proposed the new budget to you all this year, we moved the stormwater into an enterprise fund since we're collecting a separate fee for that. Inadvertently, when the line items were transferred over, that line item was not transferred over, so the budget you all approved did not have a line item for the fees for the task force. So that is what that budget amendment is for. It also will be coming out of the retained earnings for the stormwater fee.
Any questions for,
Yes, if I may.
go ahead, sir.
You did mention that we had already approved for the plan, right?
Yes, correct.
What's the status on that?
I know they just finally got the last information from Ms. Lori that they needed on the wastewater side. They were cleaning up the data on the water side because of the way we store it in Encode. It was a little bit different, so they had to correlate it together to be able to do that. I'm going to say they're about 25 to 30% complete on that. since they do have all the data now. They did finally submit an invoice for all the work that they've done, and that's one of the reasons where we caught the issue with the budget.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
thank you.
The next item, consider authorizing city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the City of San Juan Police Department and the City of FAR Police Department. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor. This is a resolution that we're proposing to partner up with the City of FAR. Back in April of last year, the commission approved, in the last budget, the commission approved for us to purchase a tool. Basically, it's called an AFIX. It's a fingerprint match tool that allows us to fingerprint individuals and establish we can locate matches. It's been very successful for us this past year. Since April of last year, they made some 7 matches. So basically, this helps us in property crime, burglaries, habitation, burglary of vehicles, stuff like that. So it's been working really good. Sergeant Garcia here is the one that is the expert on this area. He's a fingerprint expert as well, and he monitors that and anybody that we arrest and we bring into the police department, they're able to do a fingerprint match on it. So we are only one of 3 agencies here in the Valley, Edinburgh, FAR, and Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office. They have this. So this is a great tool for us. That we have 3 mobile devices as well for special investigators out on the street. They come across people that say, well, my name is so forth. We can fingerprint them there with a consent or with a warrant, and we're able to identify them quickly. And we've done this seven times this past year already. 2 of those 7 were cold cases, meaning cases that an unrelated arrest turned out to be that we had already a match on it. So it's a great tool for us. I appreciate the commissioner and the city manager last year and last budget that you all approved this for us to purchase, and has been worked tremendously for us.
So the purpose of this MOU is that AFIX is a localized database. It's in our database alone in San Juan, we have over 9,000 arrests, and those arrests have 10 print cards, which is all the fingers rolled and inked in our system. With this upgrade, we're able to go digital now. So anytime somebody gets arrested, we're submitting our own arrest straight to the state. We're submitting straight to the criminal history. So we get that digital print over into our database much quicker, and it allows us to do searches faster. So what the ability of this is that since all the agencies have this AFIX, we can remote into each other's databases and search their databases without interfering with their records. All it is just a remote search comparing our crime scene latent print that we picked up at the crime scene to FAR's database. We're hoping to do the same with Edinburgh. We're in talks with them already to have access to their database. So it's going to create this, great, enormous amount of data and potential hits to solve our crimes that are happening here in San Juan.
And it's only just strictly fingerprints.
We did do a pilot program with the same company for about 2 months on facial recognition. Just in that 2 months, we were able to make 2 hits on 1 case. It was a suspicious subject that was walking around, knocking on doors at 3 in the morning. One of our officers stopped him about 2 hours later, and getting the surveillance video from the person that called it in to the information that the officer had, we were able to confirm using the facial recognition. So that software is going to be made available to law enforcement in 2020, and we're hoping to see if we can come back and ask for that piece of equipment as well.
Mayor, Commissioner, just to add to it, this past week, or this weekend, we made an arrest of, was a Cricket store burglary. At least $45,000 worth of equipment was taken, and that turns out to be that the individual is involved in multiple other burglaries. So just the good work that our investigators are doing, and this is just added tools for our patrolmen and investigators that we can go out there and make sure that our citizens don't get burglarized, and if they do, hopefully in 2020 with that facial recognition, that will help us identify also suspects.
And touching up on that case that the chief just mentioned, that same suspect did the same offense in Edinburgh. So his prints are already in the system with Edinburgh, and we can compare those if we do the remote searches there. So it's not just suspect to latents. We can compare our crime scene latent fingerprints to the crime scene prints from FAR to the crime scene prints from Edinburgh, and we can start building up serial cases where they're hitting us here, they're hitting us in FAR, they're hitting us in Edinburgh, and it's all the same guy.
Real quick. So this MOU is giving us, the city of San Juan, access to their files.
Correct. It's going to give, RPD will be doing the same with their city commission and mayor to allow, the way it's worded with you guys right now, backwards, basically, the same rights and restrictions.
Okay.
And what other municipalities are you mentioned, Edinburgh?
Correct.
PD,
So it's Edinburgh and the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office.
Oh,
Once we
okay.
get the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, that'll be a really great one to have because, of course, every agency in Hidalgo County takes their inmates to Hidalgo. So they have a big
Correct.
database that we'll be able to search as well.
So now have you made Hidalgo County?
Yes, sir.
You-
Fortunately for us, my brother-in-law is PSI supervisor, so we're
Oh,
kind of
nice.
working together
There
already.
you go. Okay. All right. With
Motion
that,
to approve?
is there a motion to approve? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item, consideration and possible action on a resolution accepting the petition. Oh, what am I doing? Interlocal cooperation agreement between the city of San Juan and Hidalgo County to provide efficient and effective free library services to county residents for the fiscal year 2019-2020. This is a free service that we get on a yearly basis. Mrs. Sin?
Mayor, Commissioners, this is the yearly agreement we have with Hidalgo County. The only change is the amount that they give us. Changes by $40 less, so, but it's the same agreement that we have every year that Hidalgo County has with all of the libraries in Hidalgo County.
Gotcha. With that being said, is there a motion to move? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Item, consideration and possible action on a resolution accepting the petition for voluntary annexation, setting the dates and times for public hearings, and directing the planning department to prepare a service plan. Mr. Escobar?
Mayor, Commissioners, this is a voluntary request for petition. It's located between Nebraska and Stewart on Moore Road. There's actually a subdivision there existing, but since it's outside city limits, they're asking for this voluntary annexation. It's 18.8 acres, and they're looking to do a 100-lot subdivision. So this is the first step to actually voluntary annex, set the public hearing dates as well.
You said it was 18.5 acres,
Yeah.
okay.
And we're looking to do the public hearings on April 9th.
Okay.
Just
Any questions for Mr. Escobar? If not, is there a motion to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
sir.
The next item is on the consent agenda. Notice that you can pull any item for additional discussion. Should you have any questions?
At this time, under consent agenda, under A, B, C, D, E, F, is there anything that we need to amend or modify at this time? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 6:31 PM.